Our podcast needs a professional introduction. So why don't you sit back while I lay some professional broadcasting on that ass. Welcome to the Kenny and Dylan podcast.
How you doing?
I'm Kenny. That's Dylan.
I'm Dylan. That's Kenny.
Our email address is kennethanddylanshow@gmail.com if you'd like to email us the show. So email the show. Email us.
Anytime.
At the show.
Say anything.
Hi,
Anything
show.
you want.
So,
If you're a girl, you can send naked pictures.
yeah,
We'll take
boobs.
those.
Boobs.
Any girl,
I like boobs that are spelled B-E-W-B-S. Boobs. Dude, internet memes are my favorite thing in the entire world.
How are they?
I
think they get annoying.
I know. Of course they do, because there's so many of them. But
and most of them are just stupid, too.
it's garbage, right? God. But when you come across a really...
Stupid people should not be given the liberty to do this,
What was the first internet... what was the first meme you think you ever saw? Like, I think it was probably...
I don't know, man. It's probably some Chuck Norris shit or something.
Yeah.
Just,
Well, you know what? And I don't mean just on the internet. In life. I think the first one I ever seen was Hang In There Kitty at Walmart. They used to sell these posters. Do you remember going to the poster aisle in Walmart where you get, it's like over by the arts and crafts. At the end of the aisle, there's all these posters on a rack, and you'd flip through them and look, and it'd be like Power Rangers or Sports Illustrated Girl,
I don't remember
Michael
that.
Jordan. They had, and then they had like a rack, like it was like posters in frames, and it was like a rack of a fan.
Right, but yeah.
And then below it had them all rolled up.
And you go to the number and the color, whatever you are.
It would be coordinated with the poster, yeah.
Okay, yeah, they still have those.
Yeah, I know. But so the very first meme I think I ever seen was the Hang In There Kitty.
Or the how about the one that the squirrel or whatever, and he's got it's a little squirrel and he's got a stick and he's holding a nut and there's a pile of nuts behind him. He's like, protect your nuts or something like that. Or whatever.
Was that one of them?
Yeah, that's one of them. Or it's some shit like that.
Yeah. But Hang In There Kitty was a big one. Do you remember the poor little kitty cat that was holding on to the tree branch dangling, and he was looking right directly at the camera, and it said, "Hang in there, kitty."
No.
Sort of like, it's like kind of like a motivational poster to, hey, if the kitty can hang in there, so can you. Hang in there, pal. Whatever.
Right, I guess.
So-
whatever.
But they've evolved from that. They went from being posters.
Because it's all on the internet now. Everybody's on the internet.
Have you ever made one? I've never made one. Who makes them all?
Anybody can make them, I guess.
It must be pretty easy to make them too.
Dude,
You just find a picture,
yeah.
add a stupid caption.
You could probably download an app for it.
Yeah.
Just boom, any picture you want, boom, type what you want, boom.
And you know how
boom.
it almost seems like there's a format for it too, because they're all similar. That's always a
exactly
picture.
What I'm saying. There's probably an app for it. I guarantee you there is.
Yeah.
Guarantee you. There's an app for everything.
Because it's got the same.
Every fucking thing.
It's the same white font every time.
Well, sometimes they're different, a little different, but most of the time, I mean, it's just
It's the
you
picture.
can tell, It's not one guy pumping all these out,
Do you remember demotivational posters?
Yes, I do. I still look at them all the time.
Where did we see those at back in the day?
You could probably get them find them on eBombs World. I'm sure we found some on eBombs World, I'm sure.
You remember those crazy websites that used to be out when we first started surfing the internet?
Like rotten.com.
That was going to be my example, was rotten.com.
Then there was Toxic Junction.
All those horrific,
yeah, well, if
gory.
you go to... I get a hard time. Last time I tried to go to one of those websites, I'm not really getting any, you don't get... There's not any gory shit on there anymore.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think people want to look at that shit anymore. I certainly don't.
Fuck. Of course people do.
I was interested in the very beginning.
That's why it's on the fucking internet,
No, thank
See
you.
a guy get his head chopped off by a helicopter blade or something?
You know what? I did go find a picture of a guy who shot himself in the face with a shotgun the other day. That was pretty fucking funny.
What is it, Kurt Cobain or something?
No. Little Jay, our little brother, Julian, said he wanted to get a tattoo on his face.
Oh yeah.
And I told him he should put the tattoo on with a shotgun. And then the other day under my breath, this fucking woman heard me say it. I know she did. She was saying, I was irritated with this lady, and she was saying to her friend, she said, I need some makeup remover. And I mumbled under my breath, how about a shotgun? It's fucking cracking myself up, dude. You can remove your makeup with a shotgun. Oh, dude, I swear to God. And she kind of just looked at me like, what the fuck? But she was annoying the shit out of me, man.
That's a good one.
I know.
That's a good one. That's better than the J thing.
Yeah. I was laughing my ass off, dude. And I was by myself. I do that shit to myself all the time, dude. Like, I'm only funny to me. You know what I mean? When I say shit out loud, like, I think of funny shit all the time, but I bite my tongue and I don't say it,
I'll think of, well, at least what I think is something funny. I spend a lot of time thinking to myself. I think it's healthy. Everybody should.
Yeah.
But I'll come up with something funny, man, and I'll bust out laughing. Somebody be looking at me like, the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck are you laughing for? Nothing, man. Nothing.
Just keep on working.
You wouldn't understand. Huh?
Yeah. So it's about time for me to get a new phone, man.
Yeah, I've been telling you that for a while, man.
I was looking. I wanted a real sturdy phone, and they always talk about those Nokia phones.
Yeah.
Like how they're
it'll last forever.
And they have a bunch of internet memes about them too. Like they're stronger. Like
the Anderson Silva one. After he broke his leg, like automatically, like a minute later, there was a meme with Anderson Silva and his legs were Nokia phones. It's like this is what he should have had, or some shit like that.
That is too funny, man. There's some good Nokia.
Oh no, it's Chris Weidman's legs or Nokia phones.
Oh right, because they broke Anderson Silva's legs.
That was fucked. Oh man.
What was the first cell phone you ever had? Do you remember that?
The first cell phone I ever had?
Uh-huh.
Yes, I do. I don't remember what it was called, but I think I still have the motherfucker too.
Look, there's one here. Okay, there's a sinkhole. It's a neighborhood. It's not plugged in. Your fuzz had something plugged in, I think.
Okay.
What anyway? So there's a picture here, a meme, and it's a whole neighborhood, and in the center of the neighborhood there's a huge sinkhole, perfectly spherical sinkhole that looks like it's probably at least a couple 100 feet deep. It's huge, and the meme says, "Shit, I dropped my Nokia." Look, the Nokia made the big ass hole in the earth. My bulletproof vest. It's a vest made out of Nokia phones. What'd you say your first phone was?
I forget. I don't know what it was called.
No, me either.
But I know exactly. I remember what it looks like. It was a flip phone. It's got the little screen on the front. If someone's calling you, it got a little display there. It's also time and shit like that.
Do you remember pagers? You're a lot younger than me. I don't know if you...
Yeah, I remember pagers.
Did you ever have one?
No.
See, back in the day, when we were hanging out in high school and shit, whoever had the pager, that was like who you hung out with. Like, even if you didn't like that person, the fact that they had a pager sort of allowed them to hang out with, the group. Just because they had a pager. Because it was like the one way... I still
remember my dad's pager number.
643-1463?
1463.
Booyah! Is that his pager number now? Maybe we shouldn't give that out over the air.
I don't think he uses a pager anymore.
I don't think so either.
Nope.
He had one up until like pretty goddamn recently.
A couple years ago,
when most everybody did not.
He still got over like 300 CDs too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's still buying DVDs.
Yeah, he still buys DVDs. Well, I mean, they're still.
I can't tell you the last time I bought a DVD.
Yeah, he likes his collection of shit. He
Yeah.
still has the cassette tapes collection.
Yeah. Cassettes.
It's just shit he doesn't want to let go of.
Yeah. Well, there's people who hoarders, people who hoard shit. And I'm not saying that my dad's a hoarder. It's an unrelated topic, kind of related but unrelated. Hoarders are are narcissistic. It's a form of narcissism. Did you know that?
Why? So you show I got all look at all my things. I got all my things.
Yeah, it's
Makes
like
you feel like it makes you feel more special because you have so many things, or because you can show them off, maybe, or for attention.
I don't know if it's
Is that
that.
where you're going at?
No, it's more. It more has to do with like the possessions become a part of you, and you narcissists believe that they are so valuable. Even their possessions are an extension of them, and they don't want to let go of them. And anyway, they say that hoarding is obviously a mental disorder because you see
I was
people
gonna
who.
say I don't know.
It's not me. I'm not saying that hoarding is a form of
I'm
narcissism.
not saying you are. I'm just
Doctors
saying
are saying
disagree
that.
with that a little bit. I'm not sure. Well, I don't think that it'd be that all the case all the time. That people just hoard stuff because they're narcissists. Yeah, I think some people just have a disorder, but I don't think it's narcissism.
I was just tried to find an article to support my argument, but I can't find anything. So yeah, man. We hung out with people who had pagers back in the day because, like,
Yeah, that's
if
before my time. Yeah.
if somebody needed to get a hold of you, that was the only way. It was like, okay, so somebody pages.
And just let you know to call them.
Yeah, you'd either go to the nearest house phone or a payphone. Have you ever used a payphone in your life?
Mm-hmm.
You've used one?
Yeah, a few times.
When I was younger, we used a payphone all the time. Like, I don't know, 8 times a week probably, which is, didn't seem like a lot, but it was a lot. It was like, it was enough where you always had to keep.
Nobody had a fucking cell phone walking around.
You always had to keep pocket change and
you
shit.
can't just walk into Walmart and say, "Can I use a phone?" Because everybody will fucking do it.
Right, exactly. And sometimes you
There's
did.
payphones outside.
Yeah. And keeping pocket change for, but then I guess cell phones really started about. I mean, car phones were around in the '80s, in the late '80s, and then you had cell phones that probably started in the early '90s. I guess probably. I think my mom got a cell phone in like '94, '95, something like that, and I remember going to Walmart with my mom and my Aunt Sherry on the same day. They went to Walmart, and there was a little table set up in Walmart right in front of the clothing where they had this sign, and it said, "Buy a cell phone for 1 cent." And it was like, apply for this, whatever. So they both walked up to the thing, and they were like, "A cell phone for 1 cent?" And like, "Yeah." So they sign up for this deal, whatever. Sign up for the service, I guess. Whoever it was through, Motorola or Primeco, whoever it was back then.
Yeah, Primeco phone.
Yeah, they got a cell phone, which was these. They kind of look like Nokias, They're big block phones with a antenna that stuck out the top, and then had a little pulley thing where you'd grab the antenna and
pull it
jerk
out.
it
It's
up.
just a little stick.
Yeah, that would jerk up out of the
like
phone.
A twig.
Yeah.
Flexible a little bit.
Yeah, pretty interesting, man. That was the first cell phone that I was ever, and it came with this really cumbersome case. What it was just like a leather sheath on the back, and then a piece of poly on the front.
For a big while there, like before teenagers had phones, but cell phones were around. But before teenagers were getting them, every teenager had one.
Mm-hmm.
They had and kids too. They had the little they look like the cell phones that everybody had. They're fake. You know, they had little buttons and whatnot, but they're just fake phones.
Yeah.
You know, but they looked real. They like really looked real.
Mm-hmm.
Those are, you know.
Oh, you mean teenagers carried
for
those?
a short period of time. Well, not like I carried them like, you know, a bunch of 15-year-olds are all walking around imaginary talking, you know.
Well, that's what I thought you meant.
No,
Was maybe they were doing it
stupid,
as an illusion.
But for a while there, you know, as a teenager, I've seen those everywhere. Like, for a quick, short little burst, they were everywhere. Mm-hmm. You know, we had like 10 of them. You know, I don't even know how we got them.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't.
You think were they like display phones? Like in,
I don't know.
Was it something like that? Like, you know, you go to a store now and they got a bunch of display phones laying out.
Well, I mean, I guess they could be, but they just look like phones, you know, but they were fake.
Yeah.
It was like at the uproar of, you know,
cell phones.
Cell phones
and then cell phones switched. Cell phones switched. I remember I had one of the first smartphones before anybody else had a smartphone. They all had Razors, the Motorola Razor, and all these really pretty phones.
I had a Samsung Eclipse, and it opened both ways. Mm-hmm. You know, it opened this way and had a whole keyboard. Opened this way and it had just a number pad.
Mm-hmm.
And but it wasn't a smartphone. You know, you couldn't download apps and do things like that. But those were already coming out. So I was like, you know what? Next time I get an upgrade and everything, blah blah blah, I'm going with a good phone.
I think the first.
That was when I got that HTC Evo 3D. I took the 3D fucking pictures.
That was a cool phone, yeah.
That was crazy. It's like that shit just took off.
Yeah.
It was just skyrocketed all of a sudden.
Can you even buy a phone that's not a smartphone now?
Yeah.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't been.
Go buy a little flip phone.
Oh yeah, yeah. I guess you could just go to Walmart and get one of those.
Boom. Little phone.
One of those throwaway phones. One of those. What do they call them? Mistress phones.
I've heard throwaway. You know, go phone.
Well, it's a naughty phone. It's a phone you get to do your dirty business with.
Yeah, so nobody can follow you.
Track your real business. Yeah. You need to give me one of those. So you're supposed to laugh. That was a joke. That's why I suggested I was going to do naughty things.
What's funny about that?
I guess you're right. Ain't nothing funny about little strangers there. So, but yeah, they took off, man. And smartphones blew up, and then there was a huge competition. You know that Apple won a lawsuit with Samsung, like a couple of billion fucking dollars. Samsung apparently, I don't know, their software was a little too similar to the Apple interface on the smartphones, and they ended up having to pay a couple of billion. They lost like a few $1 billion lawsuit to Apple. It was some time ago. I don't know the whole details either, but could you imagine being a company and being able to shell out a few $1 billion and just keep chugging right along? Because you know what, man, I'm biased because I am a Samsung guy and I'm not an iPhone or an Apple guy. Because I don't. Apple's too Hollywood for me, and what I mean by that is Hollywood seems to have these ideas that don't fit with the rest of the country. Like they're unique to only Hollywood, and like college kids and stuff. People like that buy into those ideas, and they're just fads, and they come and they go. Now, I'm not dumb enough to suggest that Apple is just a fad because it's been around for ages, and it's a tried and true product. But it does seem like it doesn't matter what Apple comes out. If Apple comes out with some ridiculous shoes with needles in the bottom of them that hurt to walk in, people would go buy them just because they're Apple shoes. You know what I mean? And I'm not that kind of person.
And they pay more for anything.
Apple, right? Exactly.
When I get just the same shit, just as good. I mean, I don't see what makes it so much better. You know. As a matter of fact, like the iPhones, I don't like the way they work.
I don't either.
It's got one fucking button.
Yeah, it's irritating.
It's got one. I'm just confused.
I don't need a whole lot of buttons, and I'm sure you'd get used to it once you started using an iPhone. You'd probably get used to it right away. But
you can't download music on iPhones.
No,
not for free.
Like you can't go to Music Mania, or let's
or
not say it too
whatever we
loud.
use.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say whatever.
Yeah.
I want that bitch to still be around. You know what I mean? That bitch works right now.
But yeah,
Shit.
I didn't know you couldn't do that. You can't do that.
Not on iPhones. Not on anything Apple because there's iTunes.
Yeah.
You know that's where they want you to. You can get anything you want on iTunes.
You know that's funny too, man.
Anything that exists, I'm sure you can get on iTunes, which is cool. But you gotta pay for it.
I don't like that these companies and apps they're creating apps and competing with one another in such a way that it's interfering with my ability to do what I want with my device. Like I got a couple of Kindle Fires, and I love the Kindle Fire for a bunch of different things. You know, I watch Netflix on it. I listen to Sirius XM radio on it. There's a few dumb little games that I play on it, whatever. Uh, but and they have apps for all these things. You know, for Netflix, they got an app for it, and you just click it, and it sends you to your just like on your phone. You know, but YouTube on the Kindle Fire, you cannot get a YouTube app. And I don't know why. And I think it's got something to do with Amazon directly competing with Google and iTunes. You know, because the Kindle's made by Amazon, and Google. I think Google owns YouTube. I'm pretty sure that they do. So I think that because they're competing companies, they don't allow you to download the competition software onto that device. I can't download iTunes on my Kindle Fire either, which is kind of irritating, you know?
Yeah, because it'd be nice to have.
Yeah, of course, man. Or like in the beginning, Apple wouldn't support Flash, and Flash is what almost all videos you
Takes
watch.
a Flash player.
They use a Flash player to watch the video, and Apple for the longest time wouldn't allow the Flash player, Adobe's Flash player. Anyway, they would because like Vimeo's different and YouTube's even different, but I don't know. It irritates me that I guess from a business standpoint, you wouldn't want to set up a product on your device
for it to be used for free when you wanted to make money on it, just because some other guy takes it and puts it on his shit. Says here, just use this for free.
Yeah, but it does kind of, you know, I don't think you should irritate the customer either. Yeah, that's the other thing. Because of your greed, you're irritating the piss out of me.
It could just be free, you know. We could all just.
That's why I like my laptop. My laptop does all the things. I can download iTunes on my laptop. I can download.
Wouldn't that be a great thing, like Utopia, that we all just had access to everything, anything we wanted like that?
If there weren't any greed, then that would be possible. But think about it though. They're a direct competition. If you're in that business, if that's your business, you would model it in much the same way. Suppose you came out with the next big device, you know, and you opened a store where you would sell your product to work with your device. You wouldn't want to allow your customers to go purchase all the movies from iTunes or Netflix when they could buy them off of your software, you know, Dylan Player, whatever,
right.
Whatever it's called. So I understand the business model, but I do think it's irritating.
I gotta think about Utopia.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about it the other day. I think, how do you get the entire world of people
Mm-hmm.
on the same goal, on the same, on the same line, on the same track, on the same, because that's what it would take. It would take everybody,
Yeah, thinking is one.
from top to bottom,
I think that first of all, one of the more basic principles of utopia is a common language. There has to be a common language
Right, you said that before.
For the entire planet. But we need to address some more basic issues first, like starvation. We listen. It's easy for us to forget that people are starving all around the world because we are not starving. But you can't teach kids or the next generations in other countries to learn a common language a common world language if they're starving. You know how hard it is to focus in a classroom already. Now imagine if you go to the same classroom and you're starving, and all you know
You can't think of anything else
because
but eating
because our
your
human
pencils.
our human exactly yes yeah. It's funny. The other day, I was listening to this deal, and they were talking about being stuck on a raft for the people on the flight, the Malaysian flight, right? So suppose one of them, somebody did, on those airplanes, they have life rafts, okay, uh, and these life rafts are built with provisions. If the plane had a water landing and crashed, you set up these life rafts, and then depending on how many people survived or not or whatever, you get in and then you'd ration out the provisions. And depending on how well you were able to distribute those things would determine how long you could live effectively on that raft. So it's been, I don't know, a couple of weeks now, right? So they were saying, okay, so the rations, even if these people did make it on one of these lifeboats, they're running out of shit at this point. Okay.
You know what I might?
What would you what would you do? Like, would you?
If you say it was?
What if you were by yourself? Do that.
How about this? Say you were with. It was you and two other people,
Yeah.
and if it's all three of you, you're only gonna last 2 days. If it's two of you, you'll last a little longer. If it's one of you have a real chance.
Yeah.
Could
But
you
it takes
imagine being in a?
it would take a lot to get
Could
to
you
that point though,
imagine the
because
motherfucker that-
you can actually go about a month without eating.
Yeah, you just need water.
You just need water.
And on a raft in the middle of the ocean, there's no way to get water.
No.
But there should be some in the provisions.
Yeah. And I'm sure
Has to be.
there's ways to collect condensation and things like that where you could drink it
Yeah.
enough to stay alive. I think you can drink your own urine twice.
You can pray for some light rain.
Yeah. A light rain, not a heavy rain.
Yeah.
But if you were there by yourself and you had nothing to eat, what do you do? Or let's say you got.
I'd jack off in that tube all day long, man.
Let's say you got.
Here, fishies.
Let's say you got a hook. In the provisions, it comes with a hook and fishing line, but you haven't any bait to put on the line. Would you take a chunk of your own self?
If it would work.
Like, what if you took off your pinky and just, just bite down your pinky and just break it off in that, one of those last digits. Now you get some fresh blood, some good meat to stick on that hook. Could you ever get hungry enough to, or what about eating your own self? This listen.
I couldn't do that. I don't think anybody could.
I don't think you would have to though. Like, okay, you think about it.
You would never get to that point.
Where you're hungry.
You would die before you start eating yourself.
Where like this part of your hand, this real meaty part.
You can't physically do it.
Just
I don't think you can physically do it.
You just bite that and took a good chunk, but I don't think it'd be necessary because by the
if they sent you in the provisions like some LSD with a note that says take this and in 20 minutes
eat yourself.
Eat your hand.
Or what if you took the LSD and then reread the instructions?
It says, do not eat your hand.
Or no, it said something completely different, and now it says to eat your hand. Now that you're on LSD.
It's your only option.
And then you start eating your own self. And then you come off the LSD trip and you reread the packet and it says nothing about eating your own self, but you got all these holes in you where you've been eating. No, I think that your body metabolizes itself from the inside. So you would never need to eat your own skin. Your body
is eating itself anyway.
Would eat all of the available muscle tissues that you needed to run your organs and your brain.
Next thing you know, you'd be shriveled up and nothing.
It would literally
there'd be
take
nothing on you to eat.
Exactly. So before you ever needed to take a bite out of your own self,
if your body's already doing it,
yeah,
you could definitely eat somebody else though.
I couldn't.
I could.
I don't think I can eat another human.
I could if I had to. I would.
I think that's the one thing I wouldn't do.
You would too, to survive. Yeah, you would.
I would figure out a different way to survive.
What if there was no different way?
Put me in a situation and tell me where I'm at, where I couldn't.
Say you were on that raft with one other guy, and he bumped his head, but he was still alive when you put him on the raft. Y'all been out there for a month. He died. All the provisions are gone.
Mm-hmm.
You're starving.
I would catch a bird.
You ain't gonna catch no bird.
I would catch a bird.
You get tired of that, and
I would just eat raw birds.
you'd just be looking at his ass.
I would just grab a bird.
You'd just be staring at his ass, thinking,
No.
anybody watching me? Anybody watching me? Came with a little butter knife in that bag.
No, I don't think so, man. I think that I would try
I could.
and catch fish.
I could and I would. You ever seen that movie? I think Kevin Bacon's in it. And some other people. I forget what it's called, but they crash on like by some snowy ass mountains or something.
Alive?
I think so. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And they have to eat each other, and they're arguing about we don't think it's right or whatever. This is like well, we ain't got no other fucking choice.
Yeah.
And then the other guys, one of the guys like, I think it's one of the coolest parts of the movie. He's like, I just want to say that if it helps you survive, if I die, I'm perfectly okay with you eating my body if to survive. I don't mind. I don't. He's I think it's cool because
he's giving
that was
himself
part
up.
of the argument.
Yeah.
It's like, do you think that they would think
Be
it was
willing-
alright that you're eating their
them.
corpse? You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm gonna let him say it.
They got no
you
choice.
can
They're
eat-
fucking dead.
You can, yeah.
Never
yeah,
mind
no
what they
kidding.
say.
I know I don't get the sentiment thing either. I would have like, why is this even a question?
Mm-hmm.
We got one thing to do now to survive.
Yeah.
Don't question anything.
I don't think I would eat another human, though. I couldn't do it. I'm the kind of person who will do anything to survive. I just don't think I'd eat another human. I don't know why. I just don't think I could.
I could. I'd eat you if I have to.
There's plenty of me to go around. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just, you know what's funny though? We're all made of the same shit. Like, I was watching this program the other day, and I heard this really profound statement. Like, and I've heard it, I don't know, probably 10 times over the last few years. But everything around us is stardust. Okay, so if you believe scientists and you believe the Big Bang happened, right? What happened was, before our galaxy was formed, our galaxy used to belong to a sun or another. You know how elements are made, how things are, how all the elements are made, and how they're like carbon and
How they're made?
On the periodic table of elements. The more mass and the more dense something each element is directly proportional to the pressures that it's been has succumbed to in the universe. Okay, so anyway, I'm getting way off topic here. 13 billion years ago, the Big Bang happens, right? Some other galaxy forms, and a star is born in that galaxy. That star lives and dies and blows up into a supernova. Okay? So all these elements, all these carbon molecules and all these different molecules are shot out into the universe from this supernova. Okay? And then over billions of years, hundreds of millions of years, these things, these particles and molecules and stuff, due to the forces of gravity, recombine to form our this galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, and then our sun and our solar system, and then our Earth and our moon. And so effectively, everything on this Earth is made from stardust. Everything, down to the core of our planet, to our atmosphere, to all the liquid water, the humans,
Right.
and every living organism here were actually made.
It's just dust. We were just dust floating around a sun and going around in circles or whatever. But we twirled up
Mm-hmm.
into a ball of shit,
Mm-hmm.
and over millions, billions of fucking years, which we
Yeah, the
formed
Earth
into
was formed,
planets.
and so, but everything on this planet now, even including us and this table and these microphones, and
Well, we weren't stardust.
we were. That's the point. You, you see,
No, we weren't stardust.
you were.
No.
Maybe not your mind, maybe not your spiritual being, but
Yeah,
your.
humans were not fucking stardust. Not a fucking single animal in the world was, or
Yeah.
ever has been, was stardust.
Do you know what you are? You know what you're made of? You're a carbon-based
Yeah, that's
being.
fine. Everything
Okay,
in the world is made of carbon.
right.
But
Where did that carbon come from then? It's not created. All it is transferred. So when your mom was growing you in her belly, she's eating things, and those things that she eats are transferred into the mitochondria that makes up your cell. You were a single cell organism in her belly, and then you split into two cells, and then those two cells split into four,
I get, yeah, I know
and
how
then
that works.
and then so forth and so on. But only because nutrients were being supplied to that growing embryo, which is what you were, okay? So it's a transfer from,
But what does that have to do with stardust?
because think about this. She eats food. Okay. Everything is stardust. Everything is stardust. It's and when I say stardust, I mean the material, the matter of the star
No,
that.
see, I don't believe that, because I think that life was created
Mhm.
here on Earth way after the stardust it all formed and Earth was here.
Mhm.
I think life, occurred only because of the perfect chances of where we ended up in the universe,
Mhm.
that this world did, that we were able to sustain life, and thus life blossomed from something that once was stardust.
Yeah, but even all life on this planet, according to scientists and according to.
I guess you could say that even anything that's made up from the planet is still just, but
That's exactly correct. You're getting there.
I just don't like
It's
the way. I
profound.
get what you're saying. I
Yeah.
just don't like. No,
That's what scientists believe. So,
they need to word it better. Because
yeah, stardust is, but it's the matter, the matter that used to be a star exploded in a supernova, recollected into a new star, our sun, and our solar system, the 9 planets and the Milky Way asteroid belt, and then the Kuiper belt on the outside. Everything in here is the remnants of an old star that blew up billions and billions of years ago. Okay, this is eons ago. So anyway, everything on our planet, you only get bigger. You only grow as a human because you're constantly eating. You eat and you fuel and make new cells as a result of the fuel that you put into your body. That's how life works. If you were a baby and stopped eating food or any nutritional supplements or anything, you just die. You don't grow any bigger. And I know that sounds, like don't eat and you die, but the point is that you only get bigger as a result of the things that you take in from the world around you, okay? Bananas and apples and cows, and chickens and sugars and all these things, okay? That's what makes a human bigger, that's what makes us grow, that's
right,
what keeps us
I
fueled.
get it.
All those things are just stardust. They're things that are formed and are living
And
on the
it's
earth.
just like the planet forming. It's just I'm getting bigger because I'm taking all this in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you eat it, you make new cells with that. Your body stores it and then uses it here and uses it there, which is pretty spectacular, man. It's a pretty spectacular process.
I know, it's cool.
And then when you die, you're all those carbon-based molecules that you are, we put you in the ground as humans. We put our dead in the ground.
Yeah, I don't want to be put in the ground though.
And then they filter back into
I don't know about you. I don't want to be
the
buried.
earth. Yeah,
I want to be cremated. I don't like the idea of being put in the ground.
I kind of just want to be,
It's kind of like
I just want to be put in a field somewhere.
Like trapped in a box
Underground.
under the ground.
Doesn't matter. It's
with
not.
Maggots and all these.
You're not using it anymore. It's just a vehicle to carry around your brain.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure. Fine, whatever. But just if I'm gonna decay, well then just set me on fire and
You know what's funny, man? I was
make it happen.
The idea of being
quickly.
The idea of your human body being just a vehicle to carry your brain around. So it's like your brain needed a vehicle to walk around and be able to go different places, right? Your brain goes, I need to be able to get from here to there. So our brains have evolved to grow legs and arms and be able to move from point A to point B. I know I'm way oversimplifying things here, but so your body is just a vehicle for your brain.
I was gonna say, what are we just a head laying on the ground?
Yeah.
I
But what part of you are you? Like, okay, I know my thoughts are originating in my head. And I know that they're a result of electrical impulses in my brain. But what part of this body am I? Am I in my fingers? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where would you say you are? You know what I mean? Like, the person.
I guess you're in your brain.
You're in your brain, right?
You know what's funny? When you think of something, and when you're thinking, are you thinking in your head? Or are you thinking in your foot? Where's the thinking going on? Are you
Yeah, it's in your brain, obviously. But I read this article that Joe Rogan posted on Twitter the other day, and it said that every thought you have is not your own thought. You are a plagiarist.
Your brain is the true right.
Because in order for you to have a thought, an electrical impulse must first be sent. The electrical impulse must first be sent in your brain, and then you can have the thought. Okay? So how could you have the thought before the electrical impulse is sent? You can't. So your brain fires an electrical impulse, and then you get a thought. So who created that thought? Your brain or you? You see what I'm saying? And the article did a better job of explaining that, but it's like
you're self-conscious is what does it.
But how? How could you claim that it's your self-conscious? If it's your consciousness that creates the thought. How could that be true if you can't have the thought until the electrical impulse has been sent? But if the electrical impulse is already sent and then you have the thought, then it wasn't your thought.
Yes, it was.
How then?
Because it's still your fucking brain.
But the thought comes after the electrical impulse was sent.
It's still all you. Damn sure ain't anybody fucking else.
Well, that's the thing. It's
and
like
somebody's got to, reap the benefit of it. Why don't we just all name our fucking brains then?
I think we kind of do. That's the idea of naming people, naming each other. Like for me to you, I know myself as Kenny, okay, and you know yourself as Dylan. But I don't know the inner workings of your brain as Dylan. I know your face as Dylan. You know what I mean? When I look at you, I don't get to see your brain. I get to see your face. So when I think of Dylan, I think of the face. When you think of Dylan, you think of
everything that you see of me is just a direct reflection of my brain. It's exactly what it is.
You know what's funny? When I take a shower, my face is the least important thing. Like I wash my hair and I wash my armpits and my butt crack and all these things.
I
But
guess I kind of,
but
I
it,
can
your
kinda
face
agree
is
with that.
your face is your representation to the world.
Well,
It
I mean,
seems
you
like
wash your face, but
yeah, of course, but it should be like our focal point. We should have like, like if this is what you're gonna walk around sporting your mug all day long, shouldn't it be
why?
the
Why?
shouldn't it be
Who
the most
cares?
important?
Obviously, the most important thing of your body is not your face; it's your brain.
Yeah.
So why do we really even give a shit? Why
We
do we even have faces? What is pretty and ugly about?
I don't know, but I was thinking about a joke like about putting your brain on the outside so people could see it, and I thought of a really good way to do that. You know what we could do that with? A shotgun. All right, man. I think I'm gonna end this fucking podcast
Yeah, I
on
think
that
it's
note,
time.
dude. That was pretty goddamn funny, dude. If you want to wear your brain on the outside, use a shotgun to do it with. That's pretty fucking funny, isn't it, dude?
That's good.
I'm gonna laugh at my own joke for the next hour or so. All right, man. I'm gonna play a song.
I got some songs queued up.
Oh, did you already?
I do.
I just worked on one for a long time.
Unbelievable.
I'm trying to stop this. There we go. All right, go ahead, dude. Play us out, man. Oh wait, let's give our
We gave it in the beginning.
yeah. I'm gonna
We
do
know
it again.
first.
I want to do it
Kenneth
right
and Dylan Show at gmail.com.
Kenneth and Dylan Show at gmail.com.
Email us.
Email us. Let us know how we did on the show. Let us know if you liked it.
Or go fuck yourself. I don't.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. That's the end of our show. Donk.